do you think that time travel is possible?
Yes. I have like a theory. I've been trying to figure this one out.
Hey guys, this is Elijah Vargas from the Goal Swell podcast. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Cedar Johnson. I'm from Edina, Minnesota, and I'm majoring in nursing.
My name's Cameron Abanos. I'm from Hawaii, and I'm studying comp sci and mechanical engineering.
Oh, awesome. So how have you guys been liking Creighton so far?
It's been an interesting experience. I can't even lie. Like, having to manage my own time without someone being like, hey, you need to get up and go to school. You need to do your homework. You need to do this. Just having, like, you have to actually do stuff on your own. It's kind of like, it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know? And not be, it's just not having your whole day planned out for you.
From like high school and having like a full schedule to now having like 2, and then you have the rest of the day to yourself basically.
Yeah, it's just like you really need to find that motivation to like study and do things.
Yeah, it's really hard, I think. What about you, Cam?
Yeah, like high school basically for me it was like a 24-hour commitment just because the day was so full, and I think now that I have so much free time, it's like getting myself to work during that free time and like structuring a day around studying and working and stuff. That's kind of a new thing for me.
Yeah, speaking of, you mentioned work. Do you guys think that you're going to work here at Creighton or maybe possibly somewhere else?
I don't think I'm going to work here. Yeah, I mean, I could find jobs that pay better, that are off campus and probably pretty close. So, and I also am like, I'm not big on seeing people that I know when I'm at work.
At
it's
your
just
job,
the most
yeah.
awkward thing ever. I'm just like, no, thank you. Absolutely not.
Nah, yeah, I feel the same way because like even though they fit your hours, it's like you're gonna pay like $10 an hour or something.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. What's the minimum wage here? Is it it's $10?
No, it's like
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay, we'll find out eventually probably if we get a job. So normally when I do these podcasts, I like to go through the person's background just so people know why I'm talking to you. So I'm gonna start with like, where are you guys from? Like, where did you guys grow up?
So I was born in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's like, I don't even know where it is, but it was a small town. I was born there, and then eventually I actually moved to Nebraska, Omaha, and I went to elementary school here for like 3 years or something like that, and then ended up moving to Minnesota, and that's where I did like all of the rest of my schooling and stuff. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm from Hawaii, from a town called Kailua. We're kind of known for being like a tourist town and being whitewashed. So, and yeah, I basically grew up there my entire life, and I had like zero experience of anything further than like California. And before this last summer, actually, I had only been to 2 states, including Hawaii. So it's definitely a culture shock moving this far east for me, but I'm enjoying it so far.
That's pretty good. I wonder what you're going to think of the winter.
The winter's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's not compared to a Minnesota winter, but
yeah, it's like 70 degrees right now. And I'm all sweats, so.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know people are like that down in like Florida and shit, where once it gets like 60 or 70, they just start putting on like
when
hoodies
I was in Hawaii, I was like, there was one day where it was like 60 degrees, cloudy, and like me and my siblings were just swimming in the water, and these people everybody was like, why are you guys like in the water? It's way too cold to be swimming. And I'm like, this is nice. Like,
you know what?
In Minnesota, it's like back home, it's like -15 with like -30 wind chill. I'm like 6 degrees. This is a dream right now.
Yeah.
You know what island you guys were on?
Oahu.
Really?
Yeah.
Never had to get that one.
Yeah, so when you guys were younger, like what sports, what interests did you guys have? Like, what hobbies?
That's a good question. I dabbled in a lot of different sports. Like, I tried soccer. It was just like soccer, all the basic like ball sports. I didn't really find any interest in them because it was just like, I wanted to do hockey, but when moving into Minnesota, you know how in Minnesota everybody's obsessed with hockey. Like, it's just crazy how like these kids just when they grow up there, like you'd think that they've been playing hockey for their whole lives, and some of these kids just have never stepped in a rink before and played the game, but like they can skate so well.
They're just naturally good.
Especially like in the like city I lived in, like Edina, like they're known for breeding really good hockey players, like who were like number one in the country for the longest time, I think. But it was just it's so competitive there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
For me, the big one was tennis.
Ooh.
I played it for about 3 or 4 years, and I would play in a club, but my goal was to get on the tennis team at my school. My school was like entirely Chinese though, so it was impossible to get on because like every single kid was a prodigy. So yeah, and then I also did cross country and sprints.
So how has your guys' like interests, like those type of interests, changed as you've gotten older to like now?
I'm not really a big like a ball, like I don't really like sports that have like balls, like soccer. I don't really like that. Football, I mean, it's alright. I like watching it, but playing it, I'm more like I did swimming, sailing, track, and trap shooting in high school, so it's kind of just like we call them like the off-brand sports, because it wasn't really. It was the sports that people, you do, but like nobody would ever go to. You never heard of them,
Yeah, I kind of got into a big thing for me. It was hiking back in Hawaii, and I also dabbled in archery a little bit. But yeah, I think for like basketball and stuff, I mainly just watch it now.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into archery, but especially like, dude, I used to love ball sports like football, or not football, but like basketball and soccer and stuff like that. But now I'm like the opposite. I like combat. I like sometimes I like running. I won't say I love running, but like I just run occasionally, But I wanted to ask Cam, what got you? I know because I see you at the gym all the time sometimes. But what originally got you interested into the gym?
It was for a girl, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was talking to this girl, and I think my dad like kind of wanted to wean me into it because he was a huge power lifter back in his college days. And so he started talking about it, so I asked him, like, Dad, can I start lifting? And then, I'm not talking with that girl anymore, but like, I basically it was something I fell in love with, and just something I was able to keep on doing.
That's awesome, dude. And so I want to know what's your split for that, and what's your favorite day?
Right now I'm on the bro split, so I'm doing chest, back, then I'll do shoulder and arms together, and then legs, and then like whatever I want to train some more of. So usually that's like abductors or something, and then I think leg day would be my favorite day. Just because either leg day or back day, because I have a pretty decent squat and I have a pretty decent deadlift. But you're not able to deadlift yet, actually. Or you can. But
yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people try it, but
I feel like self-conscious.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, there's no platforms. There's no bouncer plates unless you go to the other one, right? The other gym. Yeah.
I was thinking about going there.
Yeah, I don't know though. CJ, I know so we hang out a lot in CJ's room, and you got like a lot of like military, like just like pictures of like tanks and stuff. So what initially got you interested in that type of stuff?
I don't know. It just kind of like popped up one day. Like I feel like I've always been interested in it. Like it's just been like different little phases.
Yeah.
But it was really started like maybe in 7th grade. Me and like my best friend Sam were just like. It was just one of like, we were just like, oh, you know what? We should join the military one day. And I'm just like, you know what? That sounds awesome. And it just kind of kicked off from there. And then like learning like war history. It's just so like, there's so much more to war than like people think. Like there's just so many different factors that you need to do. Like it's not just like people running at each other with guns. It's like you have like logistics, you have morale. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. And it's just like, the more and more you look into it and how people like, overcame like obstacles, it's just the most like marvelous. It's just crazy how it all works out.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. And I also did like a military program too in high school, so that really kind of drew me closer towards that. But like after doing the military program, it kind of like drew me away because I'm just like, I can never do it. Like, this could not be my life, you know?
Yeah.
Serving in, like, as much as, like, it wouldn't be fun, but it's just like, you know, it's a lot more than what you see in movies than just like, you know, you're just in constant gunfights under constant, like, you know, it's like, that's like not all of it. Like, that is like 5% of like being in the military is actual combat, but like a lot of it's just like sitting around doing PT, like doing actual work. It's just, it kind of sucks, not gonna lie, because I went to boot camp and I was just like, yo, this is gonna be sick. Like, we're gonna be like out in the field all day, and like for the first part of it, it was just a lot of sitting in classes and like learning about like mechanics and just engage, like, you know, it's just learning things, you know. And then it's like drill, you're like marching around for like a part of the day, and then, you know, you're being like worked to death, and then you're getting, you know, it's just,
yeah,
it's a lot of work. Like, I have a lot of respect for people who like actually go into the military, because it's just, personally, I just could not, you know, being overseas in a different country, I'd never know them, like, heard the name of or something like that. But it's just, I like learning about it though. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get that. So from there, moving into high school, what do you think? I know, because like we talk a lot, but like, what would you say is like your favorite memory from high school? This question's for both of you.
Mine has to be senior prom night.
Oh.
Cause it was like 3 a.m. and we were out in kind of tourist town, so there's a bunch of bars and stuff around us, right? And I think we were just kind of walking around, kind of dancing, trying to find something to do, basically. And then this group of college boys walks past us, and they think we're like looking at his girlfriend or something. He pulls up to us, he's like, "Hey, what you guys trying to do?" Pulls out his gun, right? So I'm like freaking out. And he's trying to press us, and then a cop pulls up beside us. And he's like trying to defuse it, and the guy just like runs away, basically. So that was like, I think that's the most memorable one. But then like the rest of the night, we were just talking about that and just like kind of reliving that experience. And I think that was probably my best night.
That's interesting. How like it goes from being such a like scary situation to just like talking about it and
I feel
like
it
thinking
made it more memorable.
Yeah.
What about
You know, I'm like trying to think of, I had such an interesting high school experience. Like, all 4 years of my high school was just like, there was always something going on. Like, I was never like, it was very rare that like there wasn't something going on with like the friend group that I was in, or just like with someone. Not that I'm like a problem person. Like, I'm not like a problematic person, but it was just like I involved myself with a lot of problematic people. So like I have a good, like, this is just one that I think is like, this is like the most interesting story. Not interesting, but like I just think it's funny. But I was friends with this girl named Emily, and we kind of had like, you know, we're good friends now, but like we kind of had like a bumpy back and forth relationship in high school. Like, we dated, then we were arch enemies, and then we were best friends, and then we were dating, and then we're arch enemies again, but then we're best friends. It was a very roller coaster of a relationship. But there was one time where me and a couple of my friends were supposed to go over to her house to hang out, right? And then my buddy Ethan called me up, and he's just like, "Man, I don't want to go. This is like, I don't want to be bored. It's a Friday night. Like, I feel like it's gonna be boring." And I'm like, "You know what? Fair enough. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Okay, he's like, let's go to the soccer game." And so we were like, I texted Emily. I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm going to like the Minnesota United game with my friend Ethan." And she's like, "Okay." You know, and I actually thought that we were going because I thought that's what he meant by the soccer game, but he meant our school soccer game. And so, you know, he comes and picks me up, and then we go pick up my friend Alexis May, and who's like also one of my good friends, and we went to this soccer game. And, you know, we get there. Actually, no, we got to rewind real quick. Before I was leaving my house, I was telling my mom, like, "Hey," she's like, I'm not going to Emily's house anymore. I'm going to the soccer game. And she's just like, "You got to be careful with this kind of stuff, CJ, because like canceling plans to go do another plans with with a person, like, group of people, it's just, she's like, you don't want to, like, get caught slacking, like, she's like, I know you think you're very smart, like, and you are, but, like, there's just some, like, girls always find a way. There's never going to be a point where you outsmart a girl, especially one like Emily, like, she's bright, like, she's smart, she knows what's going on. Anyway, so we're at this soccer game, we're just hanging out, right? And me and my buddy Ethan are sitting in the bleachers, and then our friends Claire and Alexis, they go to the concession stand to get food. And we're sitting there, and I just keep getting a call from Alexis, and she's just call after call, and I pick up, and I read my phone, and she's like, Emily and Ava are here, like, get out, like, we have to go, because we don't. And she's like, here, that she's gonna be pissed, like, because, like, rightfully so, because we all canceled, like, go to this soccer game. And so I was like, Ethan, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, like, right now. And as we're walking down the bleachers, we're walking behind the bleachers. Who turns around the corner other than Emily, looked me dead in the fucking eyes, and was like, Calvin, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, why are you here? I thought you were going somewhere else. I'm like, oh yeah, it was just miscommunication. She's like, who are you here with? I'm like, oh, it's just me and Ethan. And she's like, so you're telling me that you're not here with Alexis and Claire? I'm like, no, I didn't even know they were here. And only, And she's just like, that's funny because I see them sitting by your car. Like, they're waiting for you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not here with them. She's like, they're literally sitting on your car. I'm like, oh shit. I'm caught, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to backtrack. It's just not working because I'm digging myself a deeper hole. And I'm not good at this. And my friend Ethan's sitting there like, he don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
He just kind of sitting there. He's like, oh man, you're fucked, CJ. You're fucked. Because I'm the one who's closest with her. So and of course I'm still getting calls from Alexis like, hey, like, what's happening, and what's going on, and at this point the group was kind of in disarray because, like, it was kind of falling. It was a very corrupt group that was part of, like, this was my sophomore year. So, like, Emily was just getting back in the group after we, like, kind of dropped her for, like, a bit. And, yeah, it was just, like, it ended up being resolved, kind of half-assed resolved, but, like, it was just, like, that was just one of my things from just, like, I need to be smarter because, like, she had my, it comes to find out, I forgot about Life 360. She had me, Ethan, and Alexis on Life 360. And she got an alert when we all pulled up to school at the same time. And I'm just like, that's how my ass got caught, was Life 360. And it's just, it might come home and my mom's like, you look defeated, what happened? I'm like, Emily fucking rolled up on my ass. And she's like, I told you. She's like, I told you. Like, she's like, women always find a way. And so.
That's crazy.
It's just, it's like a scene it's like a movie scene.
Yeah.
Like, where did it get rolled up on? I'm like,
it did sound like a movie. Holy shit.
Fucking my high school career. Like, it could have been a four-part movie series, but yeah.
That's just one part.
That's just, it's like not even, it's some crazy things, man.
Yeah.
Should write a book.
I've actually been trying to write a book on this, but there's just, like, the thing is that as I'm writing the book, it makes sense to me because this happened to me, but, like, when there's just so much that goes into it that it's just like, it's like if you slim it down, you miss out little key things that lead up to, like, one big thing. It's just like, you kind of need to focus on, like, you need not one event, but, like, the events with one person. Like, I'm actually trying to write a book on, like, what happened between me and that Emily girl. Because, like, because I documented it all. I wrote everything down in high school to make, kind of like, because I knew I was going to look back one day, like, I was going to be sitting one day, like, 30 years from now, and people are going to ask, like, what was it like in high school? Like, what happened? And, like, just, what was it like? And I just wanted to be able to pull out a notebook and just have everything all written out. And, like, it was even color-coded by, like, importance.
Yeah.
So, like, I would know, like, okay, this is a big thing, I need to read it. And then, or, like, other things, like, oh, today, like, I beat my, like, personal record in my 50-meter swimming, It's just stuff like that. But I'm trying to, like, it's going well. I'm like halfway done with it. It's it's called I think it's like Letters for Amelia. So it's kind of like it's a letter style book, So it's written dates and then it's like an entry and it just kind of follows the like how me and her like really. It's an interesting story.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been working on it with my friends and just taking little transcripts from like just I need to go through all these notebooks and write this all down, and then, like I also have to give context, and it's just So I think it's.
So is that like an autobiography? You think?
No, because this
Or
is just
biography.
Of the group?
Yeah.
It's like everyone, right?
No, it's just me and them. It's just me.
Oh.
Me and her, because there's just like if I were to focus on like everything, then it's just there's just so much.
I feel like that'd be hard to write because like every single year I look back at myself a year ago. I'm like, what the fuck was I?
Exactly.
But
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's just.
If you try to write about yourself, you're just gonna be constantly editing.
And that's why I've been having like my friends help me write it, because like they're taking, because they're also throwing in their point of views too. So it's like you're getting the whole thing, but it's just like I don't know. There's just so many different things going on. Cause it was a small school, because like everybody knew what was going on with everybody. I had a graduating class like 140 kids. And so everybody knew everyone, There was probably like one girl who I saw walk across the stage at graduation. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is that? She goes here? And I'm like, it's also crazy because like there's 15 of us here at Creighton too. So it's just like, I see them all. And I'm like, there's 1,000 of us in a freshman class.
That's so crazy.
And I see 14 of these kids that I went to school with.
Yeah.
And some of them I'm like friends with. I actually have like 2 of my best friends are here. So like I have my friend Ethan and my friend Alexis. So like it's nice that I have 2 people that I'm close with, but then I'm also like seeing other people. I'm just like, oh, you were in my whatever class, or like I know them, but it's just
you just weren't that close.
I wasn't just that close, so it's just kind of like it's just like being in high school, just in the hallway.
Yeah. Speaking of like back home, how would you like describe your transition from like back home to Omaha? Like, how different do you think it is?
Well, I come from Minneapolis area, so it's a little safer here. I must say, it's a little bit different not hearing on like just one. There's not drag racing all the time. I don't hear like screeching of the tires because I lived. I'm like a suburb of Minneapolis. I lived in like the nice, like the rich white area of Minnesota, but like we bordered southwest Minneapolis, which isn't bad. It's a good area, but still there's just like it's Minneapolis and there's like no police officers. There's probably like 1 cop for like 3 precincts. So like they don't give a shit. So like it's lawless there. Like in Minneapolis, like during the 4th of July, I saw like videos of kids shooting fireworks at cop cars, and it's a shit show to say the least in Minneapolis. So it's like it's nice to be in a city where I can actually walk downtown and not worry about getting shot or jumped or it's a lot safer. But like not that saying like where I lived like in Edina, it's pretty safe, but it's just like it's nice to be able to go outside, go out. Go downtown, like go out, like it's an aesthetic going out downtown with your friends late at night, just having a good time, me and my friends couldn't do that because it's like downtown Minneapolis is nice, but it's just not safe. And it sucks because it used to be nice to go downtown. So I think it's been a good transitioning here. Just that it's a different culture, it's different.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
And it's different kind of people too. Like it's just there's a lot of crazy people in Minneapolis, I gotta say. And it's just kind of like people seem like not normal, but just like it's more of like for me, my kind of people,
That's cool.
And too, it's also nice being, like most of my high school, like all my friend group was like white dominated too. Like it was predominantly white, and then like me, and like I was friends with like 2 other like black kids, but like I didn't really hang out with them. I really had like so it's like it's nice being able to have like a friend group where it's more diverse. So it's nice being friends with people who are of my culture. It's like more, not to say that like I wasn't close with like white friends, but like I was, it's just, it's nice,
you couldn't associate with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. But it's nice. Yeah, I like Omaha. I also miss the lakes. You know, I miss being able just to go like just jump in a lake, or you know. And there's also no skiing hills here either, and Creighton doesn't have a hockey team, which sucks. You know, I was like, that was kind of my big thing. I was like, damn, I'm like, they don't got a hockey team? I'm like, oh well. I mean, it is what it is. But,
yeah.
You know, but I'm liking the transition. It's a great transition.
I think I was kind of the opposite of EC here. I
Really?
did not have many white or black friends in high school. I think especially because I was in Hawaii, and especially because I kind of went to a mathlete school, so it was like majority Asian. So I think majority of my friend group was either Japanese or Chinese.
Interesting.
And then, yeah.
We didn't have a lot of Asian people in my school.
I
thought
think-
like there was a small percentage.
I think you were my first black friend.
Really?
I'm not even joking. You were my second one.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, the culture is kind of the same. I think between Hawaii and Omaha, just because of how nice people are here. And then like the biggest thing for me is just like not being able to go into nature, like at home.
Oh yeah.
I can drive like 15 minutes and then I can just walk up a trail, like some trail to the top of a mountain barefoot. Like I can just do that. Or I can just drive like 5 minutes away and go to a beach.
Yeah.
Like here, it's like kind of just something that you have to, it's like something you have to seek out, I feel like.
Yeah, it's almost like you're hunkered down in the city, you know? Like, you have to really go out if you want to look.
Yeah, I
if
think-
you really want to go see nature, you really have to go out there.
That's kind of something I regret from my time in Hawaii. I regret not spending as
Interesting.
much time outdoors because I didn't realize like how different the access to it is
Mhm.
compared to Omaha or like any other
Yeah.
city.
I feel like every city has, like, their own little nature things, but, like...
It's a
they're
lot
just-
more domesticated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in Hawaii, like, when I was there, I remember just being able to see, like, it was just, like, there's, like, some areas where there's, like, no civilization.
Mhm.
It's just nature, which is the coolest thing. And, like, in Minnesota, like, you have that, but it's either fields or forests, you know? Like, the boundary waters are really pretty, but, like, you really have to go out there and drive
There's
for
this
it.
trail back in Hawaii.
Mhm.
It's like NUKES Trail or something. I did it with my friends right before we left, and it's just amazing because it's a little trail that goes through this bamboo forest, but the bamboos kind of concave or like come together above you.
Mhm.
So if you look up, you can't see the sky,
Yeah.
and it's just like a mile of that, and then you climb up, and it's this beautiful view.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We didn't really have. I mean, we had a lot of trails by me, but it's like nothing close to that, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
a lot less green, yeah.
yeah, it's just no. There's green.
Mm.
It's just. I mean, it's just like normal
Is it
trees.
dry in Chicago?
Dry? What do you mean? Like?
Like the
Not like precipitate, like,
like is it humid or
is it
dry?
humid or
No,
dry
it's
or-
not humid.
Really?
It's like. It's kind of like how it is here, kind of. I think I would say.
You know, I was surprised how humid it was. Like, I
Exactly.
don't even know what week it was. Where's the heat wave?
Yeah, dude, the
It
heat
was
wave
like,
week.
I felt like I was drowning in the air. I'm like, why the fuck is it so humid? There is no like bodies of water
Dude,
around
yeah.
here. And I'm like, in Minnesota, it gets that humid, but it makes sense because there's just so many fucking lakes. You know, but I'm just like, where the fuck is this humidity coming from? In the fucking middle of Omaha.
Yeah,
like,
that
I know
was-
it ain't coming from the cornfields. Like,
It's crazy. I remember just like coming out of like some of the buildings and my hands would immediately get like moisture. It was so crazy. It was
I did
instant.
so much laundry that week.
I had
It
my
was instant.
I had my glasses on when I was coming out of this super air conditioned
Yeah.
building. As soon as I stepped outside, this entire thing
It
went
just
white.
yeah, that
Yeah.
it sucks.
just
I-
sucks.
That sucks, dude.
I had the same thing. It's the same thing in the winter. It's just
Yeah.
it's awful. But
I want to ask, what made you guys choose Creighton over like other schools?
Well, my second choice was Colorado Boulder.
ooh,
Yeah, but Colorado Boulder has a better comp sci program, but Creighton has this program where you study here for 3 years under a certain engineering discipline. And if you maintain a certain GPA, they send you to WashU in St. Louis, where you study a separate engineering discipline for another 2 years. So I'm trying to do that, and so basically you get 2 bachelors, one from St. Louis, which is a really good school, and you do that in 5 years. And yeah, it was also cheaper. It was a lot cheaper than Boulder, I think.
That's cool, dude. Good for you. Hope you do that.
So my top pick was actually originally Augustana, which is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I ended up picking here because, like, they just built a new nursing college, and they have, like, 14 sim labs, which is, like, it's fucking awesome. You know, like, it's better than Augustana that has, like, 3. And it was just, like, I also visited Augustana. It was, like, I liked it, but it was almost like, I don't know, I just didn't really feel at home there. And then I visited here, and it was just so nice.
Yeah.
You know, and like my best, like my lifelong friend Jordan, he's going to UNL, so he's like, you know, he's comes home on the weekends, or you know, we can hang out. So it's like it's nice there too. And then I'm also away from my family, you know. In Sioux Falls, like I have a lot of family there. Like that's where like half my aunts and uncles is my like, you know, my cousins live like 2 minutes away from the Augustana campus. So like, you know, it was just like I would be around family, but like at the same time, I feel like I needed to like create my own identity away from home, you know, because then I feel like I wouldn't be the best person that like be the best version of myself that I would if I was just surrounded by my family, because I feel like I'd just like. One, I'd want to be go to like, you know, like hang out with my cousins, or, you know, go to my grandma's house for food, you know, just kind of like, I feel like I wouldn't want to stay on campus. Like, I feel like I would have places to go, or like people, you know, it was just, you know, and it's nice too, because I can go out and not worry about seeing like my aunts on the street, you know, because I went to Sioux Falls this summer actually, it was me and my friend Alexis, and then like my family, and me and my friend Alexis we were driving around in my grandpa's convertible, and we ended up just seeing my aunt just behind us. Like it was just like wasn't planned, nothing. It was just we were just driving. So I was just like I feel like if that can happen, I feel like I could definitely be going out in the town, just out with the boys, you know, just doing shenanigans, and then like my uncle or my aunt will see, and then like I'm not worried about my mom finding out. I'm worried about my grandma. My grandma's scared. Like she doesn't scare me, but like she's very you know, I really value her, like the way her perception of me, because she's just like, I don't know, I really look up to her, because she's just so like, she knows everyone, you know, she's connections everywhere. And so I'm just like, you know, I need to have, and I'm the oldest grandchild, so I feel like I really need to like set the bar, so I do not want my grandma hearing anything bad about me. So that's why I was like, here I'm 5 hours away from home. I'm 2 hours away from Sioux Falls. So like if I want to go hunting on the weekends, I can just have like one of my uncles come pick me up, and I can stay there for the weekend. Home is a 5-hour drive. It's a little bit different, but then to Sioux Falls, it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes from Minneapolis to Sioux Falls. So if my parents want to like meet me there, then it's like it's better than them driving down here. So but that's why I chose like Creighton. Also just like it felt more at home. You know, it was just...
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer. I feel like Omaha is just a lot nicer than Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is kind of like it's not a small town, it's a city, but like there's a lot more to do here. You know?
Yeah, I felt that too, because when I remember I came here like last September, I want to say, or last November. But yeah, I came and like just seeing... Like the freshman dorm wasn't finished yet. I saw Swanson, I think, because that's like the one that they show you first. Mm-hmm. And then I talked to the professor for criminal justice, and he was like such a cool dude. And I remember just like walking around campus and being like, "Damn, there's so much nice stuff here."
Yeah, except for Degelman.
Yeah.
Dorm.
I saw some. I think Creighton felt a lot more personalized.
Yeah.
My tour guide, she was from Hawaii. Mm-hmm. We had 2 tour guides. Both of them were from Hawaii, and they like specifically chosen them for us. Then I got to talk with the comp sci professor.
Yeah.
He's just.
It felt good. Like they actually genuinely cared.
I looked up a stat. We get as much endowment as SDSU does, and we have like an 1/8 of the student population.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
I know. I feel like we're not like a number here either. I feel like at big colleges, like really like the big, you know, really the big colleges, I feel like they're a number, you know, like they don't really, like professors just like, okay, you're just like, you know, I don't know how it is, but like there's more students, you know, like it's you can actually get to know your professor, and they'll actually remember your name. They're not going to be like, oh, what's your name again? Like, they'll actually remember you. It's a small
Yeah.
school, and, you know, I see my professors walking around.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, it's kind of, it's nice, you know. It's
Yeah.
nice that you can actually get that one-on-one help, and there's just so many resources to, like, get that help.
Yeah, whereas they, like, in other schools, they just talk at you and hope that you learn.
Yeah.
Here, it's like
They want you to.
if they see
want
you
to graduate.
if they see you struggling, they'll legit come over and ask you, like,
Yo, what's going on?
do you need help? Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, my sister went to UCSD, and she was a pre-med major, so, and she said, like, all of her gen ed classes, it was, like, 150, 200 students.
Shit.
Which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, the
That's hard to
graph year is,
imagine.
What, 40?
Yeah, that's like my average class size was like 20 kids.
Yeah.
So it's like nice because it's just like, it's the same. It's like, granted, there's a little bit more kids in like some classes, but like it's the same size.
It kind of feels
It's
like
great.
high school.
It feels
it's really
just like high school, so it's not like stressing out.
That's what I've been saying. It feels like a glorified high school almost.
Yeah, it's
feel
it's
like-
high school, but you live with your classmates.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in summer school, but I just live here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still waiting for my parents to come pick me up. So if you're listening to this, mom and dad, like, come pick me up right now. I'm waiting for you to bring me home from summer camp.
So aside from like majors and stuff, are you guys involved in anything like in campus, whether it's like sports, activities, clubs, stuff like that?
This year, to fulfill my fine art major, I started taking film photography. So I'm actually learning how to like develop the film and then print it onto photo paper and stuff. And like that was kind of something that my dad was always into. So it's kind of getting into something that my dad always talked about and kind of just like something he had an interest in. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you do with like getting those type of pictures, those type of like once you print them and whatever, right?
So you load the film into your camera, and then once you finish shooting your film, you develop it, which just means that you like hold the image in place so that you can actually put it into light. And then we have like this machine in the darkroom, so it shines a light through the film, through the negative of the film, onto like photosensitive paper, so that it takes a negative of the negative and it outputs like a black and white picture onto the photo paper. So it exposes it in like the opposite direction.
Damn.
Yeah. It's really fun though. I'm just kind of getting into it.
That's cool. Holy shit, bro.
I know. I'm like.
I never understood that until like
understood
now.
either. I'm like,
Neither did I. And like just kind of
interesting.
reading it and watching videos and stuff, it was amazing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in EMS club, but like that's EMS club. I want to do a sport, but like I don't know what sport to do.
MMA,
You know,
bro.
Like I'm low key thinking about doing MMA because I'm kind of a beast. I'm kind of a tank. I can't even lie. Even
Mixed
though I
martial
got my
arts.
shit rocked by fucking. We got our shit rocked by Logan.
Yeah.
But like,
Come back.
I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about doing badminton. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, low key, I'm like it's kind of chill. You know, it's but like.
Bro, badminton's fun.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know. Like I was really big into airsoft in high school. Like
Yeah.
it was just like it was like my thing. Like that was kind of just like I would do it every weekend, and it was just but they don't have there's nothing around here. You know, that would be like the one club I would join, or like paintball. Like
Dude.
I'm a beast at paintball too, but like I don't know. I feel like stuff like that. You know, like that's really my like kind of thing versus. Like,
That's an expensive hobby, bro.
it is. It
Yeah.
really is. Like I accumulated all my stuff over like years, you know, and
Oh yeah.
because I didn't buy it all.
You got
at
you
once.
got your own stuff.
I
yeah.
got my own stuff, and I started off with just like I went to Shields and got just a standard, you know, just like an airsoft gun, just like one airsoft gun, and then a helmet, and then just got like one camo outfit, and then just as I went on, I figured out like it's really just like figuring out what you like, what your style is. But I just started, you know, I really started to get like actual military equipment, and it's expensive, but like if you do it over time, it's a little bit better than just doing it all at once, you know. Like, I
Yeah.
would say like into my one like primary airsoft gun alone, I probably like threw in like $1,000 in just like upgrades and attachments and just stuff like that. But like the uniform, I just used my uniform for my military program, and like I have like a full like Kevlar bulletproof helmet and a night vision goggles. And night vision goggles weren't cheap either, but like, you know, it was fun though, because it was just like, it's worth it, I would say. Like, you don't need expensive gear to do airsoft, but like, it makes it a little bit better. It makes it a little bit less painful to get shot. I would say, because like the first time I did it, I got hit, and I was like, God, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I've never done airsoft. Like, compared to paintball, is it more fun, or is it?
I would say it's more fun because it's just paintball. I don't really like paintball. It's too messy for me too. And it's like, you can do so much. There's just like in airsoft, there's just so much like, there's just so many different types. Any kind of gun you can imagine, they have that, a version of airsoft. Like, or even like stuff from like, you know, they have muskets, or like, if you want stuff from like Star Wars or Halo, they got all of that. So like, you'll see like
grenades.
There's grenades. I've done ones where like they have actual like artillery. So like they'll and they'll have like, well, they're like they're like modified CO2 cannons of like old artillery pieces, and they'll just launch these like balls of just like pressurized like ball, like, you know, and they'll have like airsoft pellets in them, and they'll just launch them, and so you hear this like boom, and then you like it's really cool. I saw a lot of interesting things, and like, you know, it's kind of like I did it with all my guy friends, and it was probably like, it's a really cool community, because like you meet people and they'll just be like, hey, like, you know, sometimes they'll just have like old equipment lying around, and you can just ask and be like, hey, can I have that? It's like, sure, you know. But it was probably some of my most fun memories with my friends was doing airsoft, because there's just, you know, you just never know what to expect. You can turn a corner and there can be just a bunch of motherfuckers in there, and I remember like my first time I did it, I was sitting in like a bunker, and there was like a little hole in the top of it. Some motherfucker just dropped a grenade down that little hole, and I thought it was a fucking pine cone. And so I go to pick this thing up, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's a grenade. And it was like, I had my arm reaching out to pick it up, and so it just got my under part of my arm where there was no protections. There was just like welts all up, and it was probably like the worst experience I've had. But like looking back on it now, I'm just like, God, you're a fucking idiot. Where the fuck would that pine cone come from? You're in a fucking bunker, dumbass. Like, you know, I'm like, but you know, it's fun.
That's funny.
It's really funny.
That's funny. I want to move on into like talking about your guys' future. So do you guys have a goal in life? Like, what would you say would be your goal in life?
I would say like graduate, first of all. You know, become an actual nurse, not just be like, I'm gonna be a nurse. I'd be like, you know, graduate. I want to get a job. I don't know where I want to live yet, but I think I'll probably move back to Minnesota. I'd move back to Minnesota, get a job there maybe, or maybe stay here for a couple years. But eventually I do want to like move out to like the country. I want to either like Montana, or, you know, somewhere where there's like, you don't have a neighbor for like 3 miles. You know, I just want to have like a nice house on a big plot of land. You know, you can just roam around, do whatever you want. You know, have a couple dogs, just like, you know, it's nice. It's peaceful. It's a peaceful life. It's better than living in. I like being out in the country more than the city, because I have a lake house out maybe like an hour outside of Minneapolis. It's nice, you know.
Yeah.
I want to like have like a peaceful, you know. I don't want to be like have to worry about my neighbors, and I just want to be able to do whatever I want on my land. You know? Maybe even grow a couple, like maybe like my grandma's sister grows raspberries. And her, like, she has like a kind of like a big plot. Like, she grows raspberries. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. You know, we'd go and pick them as a kid, and it was awesome. You know, just, you know, settle down after maybe, I don't even know what age, but like, I want to get married and just have kids and just, you know, just hang out.
Of course.
Have a good time after working my ass off. You know?
Yeah. I think that's like a reoccurring, because a lot of people mention that on my podcast, that like I ask them the same question, and they'll say, you know, I want to live in like the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of a forest. Because I know I think like maybe my 10th episode around then, I had my friend Morrison from back home, and he was talking about how he wanted to live in like the middle of a forest, have like ATVs, log cabin house. He just wants to live like that lifestyle, like live off the land.
I want to be able to wake up at like 12 a.m. and just have a glass of wine and just sit and look out. You know, I feel like in Montana it'd be cool just looking at like the mountains. Like I want to have like a mountain scenery or something. You know.
Yeah.
Like, we live just like I have like a little creek running through and just seeing wildlife. It would just sit and have like a glass of wine. You know, it'd be great.
I feel like it's kind of a thing, like, on the internet. There's just all these people who are, like, just move to the middle of nowhere and just fucking live on your own.
Go off the grid.
Yeah, it's just like, if you know, it's just, I feel like it's nicer because then you don't have to, like, worry about people watching it. You know, you can kind of just, you can do whatever you want.
I feel like it's romanticized too much, though. Because, like, that's got to be, that going out onto the porch with a glass of wine, that's, like, 5% of your living. The rest of it is fending for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I see
No.
what you mean.
But like I also want to get like, you know, like a job at like a small town clinic. You know, it's you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You just yeah. But that's just me. Like I'm really more of like I like the country more than the city. You know, it's you can actually see the stars and you can actually enjoy nature and you know you don't. It's just you're not on top of it. In the city, like everybody's on top of each other. You don't have any room. You know, it's just nice to be spread out.
It's country boy at heart, right?
Yeah, that's me. City boy.
What about you?
Basically the same thing as CJ. Just get a good job. I think it has to be a job where I feel like I'm helping people for me to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Provide for my family, get my kids through college, get my kids a job. And I think as soon as I have kids, I'm gonna move back to Hawaii. I want to raise my kids in Hawaii.
Really?
There's no way I'm gonna raise them anywhere else. I think.
Not even Minnesota.
Fuck.
I'm telling
Minnesota,
you.
bro.
I'm telling you. It's. Yeah. That's completely valid
If
statement.
I could have a kid, like, okay, imagine you're a kid. Would you rather live in fucking Minnesota?
Hawaii.
Exactly. Yeah, and then I think once my kids move out and like they have their debts paid off and stuff, I'm gonna like go somewhere with my wife, just like the Italian countryside or something.
Italian
Would you
countryside.
consider Europe or America for your country, for your like capital?
I would if I
a good
could, I would
question.
live in Italy. I mean, it is just I love it there.
It's so idyllic, bro.
It is just like there is just so much there, and it's just like the wine is just in like the wine there is just I don't know. I like it. It's good, and the food is great. You know, and everything's walkable. You know, you can travel. You can go across the whole country in like a matter of hours. You know, it's nice. You know.
Yeah.
What about Venice? Would you live in
No,
Venice?
absolutely not. I personally, I think that Venice is overrated. It smells like sulfur. It is one stink. It's just, it's nothing like the pictures. You know, I feel like it's Venice and Paris, both to me, are just like overhyped.
Paris is a shithole.
Paris is a
right?
fucking shithole. It is
Yeah.
nasty. I hate the French that live in Paris. They're kind of like, they're mean, you know? And because it's just like, the Eiffel Tower, like, don't get me wrong, like, it is, the Eiffel Tower, I've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower. It is pretty, but that is it. You know, you have, but like, if you go anywhere outside Paris, like, Normandy was pretty cool, and just like small towns are nice, but like, Paris, if you have the like, I am telling you, I'm like saying, like, if you have the chance to go, don't. If you can go, if you can go somewhere else, go somewhere else.
I heard the French are very
They hate Americans.
they hate Americans.
Even though we saved their ass twice. I feel like they should love us, but yeah, it's just not what you see in the movie. Like Ratatouille, I thought it was gonna be like Ratatouille. I thought I was gonna show up there and there's gonna be like fucking Gusteau's, and you know, I thought it was gonna look nice, but it is just so dirty. You know, it's dirty and they're always on strike. That is every time I've been to Europe. There's always been someone on strike. There's always people on strike, you know. And so they're always doing something. I mean,
Yeah.
it's better than here, but like, don't ever go to Paris. It is not worth it. Or Venice. I mean, I'm saying this is not stopping you, but like, go to like I would skip Venice, go to like Sorrento, Capri, Rome. Like Rome is so cool. Like Rome, Pompeii, Milan. Like the coastal cities are so beautiful. You know, there's just, in each part of Italy, like the little states, they have like different architecture. Like they have like each place you go, or like outside of like because they used to be like separate kingdoms or whatever, and they all have their own little architecture. So
that's cool. Holy
different
shit.
place you go to, there's different architecture or like different way that things are built, and there's just so much culture there. There's like I want to keep going back and just seeing like the Italian culture and how they, you know, the Romans too, like all the Roman shit, like the aqueducts.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling how they made that shit.
Dude. I don't know. Like they had roads too and shit.
Yeah,
right?
and the roads are like.
The roads have held up better than most of our highways.
Exactly, and I'm just
crazy.
like, how the fuck? Like, it's just marveling.
Like that was built when Jesus was alive.
Yeah, like that is
What
just
the
like,
hell?
even in like I was like in Pompeii, and they were just like the roads are perfectly fitted to fit the carriages. And like the way they had like runoff systems, so like when it would like rain really hard, you're able to like walk across the street and the water would just go right like between. There's like rocks in between, like big rocks, but like they were perfectly placed. So if a horse and carrot or like a chariot goes through, the wheels go straight between the rocks, every time.
Damn.
The Romans were very like, even the Colosseum. That's Italy's probably the best country.
Yeah.
I've been to so far. Many I've been to.
I want to ask, what types of things are on your bucket list?
Ooh.
I think a big one, something that was on my bucket list was just going to Yellowstone, because I had heard it was like amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I went this past trip before I came to Creighton, and I remember, I think my favorite memory from that trip, I went mountain biking with my mom, and my mom was kind of like, she was kind of tired, you know, her knees were hurting, so she's like, okay, we went halfway, and then she's like, okay, you can go the rest of the way, and I'll just catch up with you later. So I just biked out to the middle of this field. It's like this, like, you know Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
The 100-acre woods, it was like that, bro. It was just like this empty fucking field, there's flowers everywhere. I just sat under a tree and I took a nap. It was the most amazing
That is the
thing
nicest thing
ever
you ever do.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you now.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But I think what else I have on my bucket list? Maybe skydiving.
I feel like that's on everybody's bucket list, you know? I feel like
That's very basic though.
it's very basic. I have to say like that would be mine, but like I don't know, like I feel like I want to go to Greece. Like I really want to go see Greece, or like I low-key want to go to Russia. Like I just want to see what the culture's like. Like they're crazy. The Russians are crazy, but like they're just.
How are they to tourists?
I'm just worried about going there and fucking up and ending up in the goddamn gulag. I don't. The Russians don't fuck with Americans, you know. But like, I'm probably not gonna go just because of the shit that's going on. But like, low key though, like
you just want to see.
I just want to see, because like, you see the pictures of like the Kremlin or like, you know, the like St. Petersburg Square and like all like, you know, like the interesting little dome, like the dome things like in Moscow. But like I just want to see like outside of Moscow, what does it look like? Because I'm kind of interested in like the Soviet countries and how they like set up things, you know? Like,
yeah.
They had like a very interesting way of life, and I'm just like, I want to see that. You know, you don't see that in the Western European countries. You see them in some of the post-Soviet, like the Baltic states, or like maybe in some. I haven't been to Poland, but I just want to see like what was life like in like a traditional Soviet country. Like what was it like?
Aren't most of those like extremely poverty-ridden?
Yeah, they're extremely poverty-ridden, but it's
Eastern
just like I
European
just want to see like what is it like? You know, I'm like, is it compared to like our poverty-ridden areas, or is it like, you know?
I think it's worse.
I think it's worse, but like
seen,
how
videos
worse?
Online.
But those are videos, like you know, you have to see them in person.
So it's like TikToks, and it's like something core, and they like romanticize the idea of like, growing up in an Eastern European, and then it's like it splits, or Yeah, like some
Yeah.
actual dude from Eastern Europe splits, and it's like he's living in a fucking hole
Yeah.
with like dead bodies or something.
One of my aunt's husband's mother, I think she grew up in Poland, but she grew up like during the time of the Iron Curtain. And I've always, like, you know, the Iron Curtain was like...
Oh, is that when they closed it off to America?
No. So the Iron Curtain was like, you know, the Western European countries, like NATO states, like what, like
Yeah.
democratic, and then there was the Soviets, and there was like, it was like
Oh,
Iron Curtain was like,
yeah.
there was just kind of like the border between
Mhm.
the Soviets and the West, you know. It was, so she grew up there, but like, it was just like, I've always wondered, like, what was it like growing up in the Soviet Union, you know?
I would want to be in Berlin for the fall of the Berlin Wall. That would have been crazy.
That would be awesome. You know, it would just see the ball forever. You know, just or the collapse of the Soviet Union. I'd want to see that.
Yeah, I think I know what you were saying earlier about like seeing what poverty's like over there. I think seeing stuff like that gives you a better appreciation for like where
Yeah.
you are and stuff like that, and seeing like that way of life. I wanted to ask, what do you think is the purpose of life?
That is such an interesting question. Like, I think like it depends how you look at it. You know, it depends on like your background. Because I feel like like I went to a Catholic school, and like we touch base on this sometimes in like religion class, and the answer that you'd always get is to be the best, be the best image of God that you can be. I call bullshit. I was like, there's no way. You know, I don't think that I think the meaning of life is like, there's more to it than we can comprehend. And, you know, it's just like, you know, religion says like, it has to be this way, but I think like, not saying that some religions are fake. I'm not saying that, but I'm just like, I feel like religion was created to give us that sense of security over the meaning of life, you know? Because I feel like people have been wondering this for years. Because you know, and it's just like, who knows?
I know what
You
you.
believe in God?
I do. I don't think I do believe in God, but like I believe that there's like a higher up. There's just like, because I'm just like, I sit in bed and think sometimes like, because they say the universe is always expanding, but I'm like, where did it start? It had to start something like
Exactly.
so it's just like it had to start, something had to do it, and I'm just like, there's some weird things that go on that people can't explain. So there has to be like something more. I feel like there's just more to the picture than we understand, and that we just need to like, I don't think we'll ever find the pieces, but like, it's just, there's just it's kind of like, it's kind of like a puzzle and you're missing like 15 pieces and you just can't figure out how to fuck to connect. It's like the pieces that connect the bigger chunks.
Yeah.
It's the small pieces that connect the bigger chunks, and I feel like that's exactly what's going on. We have the big chunks. We just need the small ones to like.
Maybe we have to create the small.
We have,
That's
yeah.
our purpose.
But yeah, who knows? That could very well be. I've never thought about it that way, but just there's more to like what we're doing now. There's more to life than just life and death. I feel like and everything in between. You know, it's just,
I feel like
reincarnation is like, it's interesting, but then it's like, well, if people always come back, why is the human population growing?
okay, but you're saying life and death.
That's a good point.
No, maybe it's animals. Really?
Oh yeah, because some people
could
believe
be
in the
extinct
animals.
animals.
Okay, no.
Because think about it, bro. Because like some of the animal populations go down as like the human
Rates go
population
up.
goes up.
It's like a game of infection.
It's crazy, dude. I never thought about it that way.
like
That's
the
actually
craziest shit
crazy.
ever. Like, yeah,
Dude,
what if
we're reincarnated aliens?
Oh yeah.
What if it's universe?
you ever think about like, you ever
Yeah.
think of those things where it's like the chances of us being in simulation right now is like, there is a possibility.
Like it's not zero.
Like, what if I just like die and I just take off a fucking headset and
What would
I've been
you
sitting in a
Dude,
simulation this whole
I
time?
think
don't
about
know
that.
what I would do.
Like, I feel like sometimes I have dreams where like I feel like I live for years, and then I wake up and I'm like, what is going on? You know,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, because in this dream I went from being 18 to being like 28, and I wake up and I'm back at 18.
It's crazy. Those experiences are wild, dude.
Yeah.
Is there someone trying to get
I
in?
think there's someone trying to get in.
What's he want?
Oh, you're not going to touch your. Thank you.
Yo.
Oh, well.
Okay. So I want to ask. So what did you guys think was the purpose of life? I want to ask, do you think that like the purpose of life is to like find purpose in life? So like find things that you want to do.
I think you have to make
and,
your
like,
own purpose.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because I like feel like I have different motivations to do things than someone else would. You know, so if someone asked me like, what do you think the overall purpose of life is? Like, what do you think the overall purpose in life? Someone might say something different than what I would. You know, just depending. You know, just.
But if two people do the same thing and their purposes are different, does that mean that one has fulfilled their life and the other hasn't?
I think that it's really up to you. I don't think there's such thing as like a waste of a life, but like I think that everybody's different. You know, even if you're twins, you have like it's just environment. It's and experience. Everybody's gonna have different experiences. Like it's everyone's unique, and so I think that just even though they might have the same purpose, they might not have the same end goal. So like, I could be going to point A and someone else could be going to point B. And let's say I have a twin and we both want to go to point B. I might be going to B1, he might be going to B10. You just never know where someone wants the end.
And the way you get there is different.
The way you get there is different, and the experiences you have on the way are different. So I feel like, and maybe you find a different purpose while on the journey to figure out your purpose. It's really all up to interpretation. Yeah, it's a weird concept, I must say.
What do you think is the purpose in life, Cam?
So I was raised Catholic, so I do believe in God quite a bit, but I believe that God doesn't. You can't ask God for stuff. You can't pray for God for like a good grade on your next test. I believe, like during the Enlightenment in Europe, they believed in this thing called a clockwork God, which is basically God. He created the universe. He created everything. He still works in our life, but to a much lesser extent. And it's up to you to kind of work to like make your own purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And to just. So I'm kind of like an existentialist in that regard. I think that I just, not that there's no purpose, but like there's no divine purpose, and it's just kind of up to you to make it out.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I do think like one of the purposes, at least for like as far as Christians, is to not like convert people, but like show more people like Christ and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think that is a purpose. I don't know if I'm not entirely sure if that's
spreading the Lord's word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the purpose, but I'm pretty sure like that's pretty close to like what as Christians what we should be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think for us, like for a lot of religions, it's just about getting to whatever your religion's version of heaven is.
Yeah.
So it's like for Buddhists, it's like reaching enlightenment, or for us, it's like leading a sinless life so that we can get into heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever? This is kind of stepping outside of like that religion aspect. I know you said that you wish that you could have seen like the specific moment in history. You said, have you ever thought about like once you die that you'll be able to see? No, I just always hope that like whenever I die, or like I always hope like in my lifetime I would see like how certain things, like certain events happened in history.
Yeah.
And like certain like mysteries get revealed, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. I always hope that like when I die, I just like those would get filled in.
Yeah, I used to have this like recurring dream. I think it was heaven.
Yeah.
Because it was just like me in this room on a couch, and it's just white outside the window. But then I have this TV in front of me. I can just go to any point in history and look at it from like any point of view. And I can just. I feel like that would be super cool.
That sounds close to like lucid dreaming too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like dude, I had always wished that like at some point I'd like maybe not just me or just like in my lifetime someone figured out how the pyramids got built.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that.
I think we know, but I just think there's a lot of kooks out there.
If you could answer like any question like that, which one would you answer? Like solve any mystery throughout history.
I think that one's a big one.
I want to know what was lost. Like, you know, when the library at Alexandria burned down, and it said that it set us back like so many years of like in development. I want to know what was so big and important that was lost at the Library of Alexandria. That was like, but there were some things that weren't able to be recovered. So what were those things?
I saw something where it was like, it's actually estimated that 80 to 90% of it was already copied and like sent out throughout the country.
What about that 10 to 20%?
No,
Like
I think that thing about like setting us back 1,000 years. I think that's an exaggeration. Actually,
I think it's an exaggeration, but I just would be interested to know what was lost.
I bet it's like,
you know, like what was
mathematical formulas and shit.
Yeah, but like that could have set us ahead. You know.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I feel like it's not a big thing, but it's just like I just want to know what was lost to time.
Yeah.
Like what was written down that was.
Do you think that as a concept, do you think that time travel is possible?
Yes. Don't. I have like a theory. Me and I've been trying to figure this one out. You've seen me do it.
Yeah, he's got a whiteboard.
I got a whiteboard in my room that has like a theory and concepts and formulas, and I think we can.
What's your theory?
So you have to stick with me for this because it might not make sense.
Yeah.
But you ever seen Interstellar?
No. I gotta watch that,
Yeah,
dude. I
it's
swear
like-
every episode someone tells me to watch
so
it.
pretty much like time is kind of like it's in a certain way it's light. Time is light because NASA was able to see the beginning of the universe by getting ahead of light. You know, by like because it takes like
They're not getting ahead of the light.
They're not getting ahead.
Receiving the light that happened at that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, you know, it takes a certain amount of time for light to get there. So I feel like if we're able to just either move with it or against it, that we're able to move within periods of time. But that's just like that's seeing it. But living it is a whole different thing. You know, I think it's just. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's.
So what you're saying is
I feel like there's timelines, like dimensions with each different timelines. One with like there's infinitely different timelines, but in each timeline, one decision was made that wasn't made in the other. So like, let's just say there's a multiverse, but like let's just say like I snap my fingers. This was destined to happen in this timeline. But let's just say in a different timeline, I didn't snap. That's going to cause a whole different thing to happen in the future than what's going to happen in this timeline that I'm in now. And it's just a matter of how do you access the different multiverses from yours? You know? Like how do you either move fast enough, slow enough to be able to warp into a different dimension? In Interstellar, they do it through like black holes.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
But it's also like, I don't think you have to first find a black hole, and then you have to like be able to go into it and get out of it. And it's just, you know, it's hard to get out of a black hole because it's just sucking everything in, you know. So I feel like there's a way to do it, but I don't think that we have the materials or the use.
Yeah.
Another theory I saw online, it's kind of like in comics too, it's that all those worlds, all those dimensions, they exist in the same space, but we vibrate like at a fundamentally different level.
Yeah.
Like our micro, whatever, like our, what do you call them? Atoms?
Yeah,
they
atoms.
vibrate on a fundamentally different level, so everything exists on top of each other. And if you vibrate at the frequency of another universe, you can access that universe.
That's low key like such an interesting. We'll have to look into that one because I'm.
That's like how the Flash gets to other universes.
Really?
It's like time travels and shit.
Yeah, because I think like also too like, I don't think that everything. This one's like really deep. I have to like really think about it, but like, I think everything is happening and not happening at the same time. Because.
You mean like.
We're sitting in the now, but that's just a click, you know, like everything's happening so quick that it's happening in the now, but it's also not. It's like they cancel each other out.
Have you heard of like the what's it called, the flip book theory?
What was it?
So it's kind of like, imagine that there's like one big book, and let's say like the author's God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you start it, like flip books where you like open it
Oh,
or
like Captain Underpants?
yeah, kind of, and you just like go to the corner and you just go through the whole page.
Mm-hmm.
Or the whole book, and you just flip it until like it kind of makes like a movie almost. It's kind of like that, where like each and every moment in time already exists. It's all one book that exists in time, right?
Yeah.
But like it has each and every single moment, and it always exists, and it's always all at once. But we only exist in the experience, like while the flip book is going.
Exactly. Like if I wanted, like I just have to figure out. You should figure out how to stop the book.
Yeah.
And go back.
Yeah,
Watch
because
this.
there's a way to
do
get
it.
outside of the book, is what I'm saying,
I
kind
watched
of.
this Vsauce video, and he talked about this theory called the Last Thursday theory. And it's like, what if all your memories, the entire universe was created 5 seconds ago, or last Thursday?
Oh yeah.
And you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't.
There's like no way for you to actually know that, or to know like I don't know that I'm not the only conscious person alive.
Yeah,
You guys
there's
are
that
just
too.
hallucinations or something.
Yeah. That's very true.
Just trying to fill like your brain and trying to
Mm-hmm.
because you don't even know how like your brain works. Like isn't your brain one of the biggest mysteries?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Do you believe in like? I think the biggest mystery is like how consciousness is connected to the brain.
Yeah.
Because you can lose consciousness.
I don't think
but
it's
your brain-
conscious. I think it's just intelligent.
No. Consciousness. Because your brain can be working, but you can be not conscious. Like brain dead people. Or your brain, yeah. You can be brain dead. Like in a
You
coma.
can be brain dead, but yeah, I see what you mean. But like, are we talking like conscious? Like, we know what I don't even know. We had the same conversation in like one of my classes. Like,
Yeah.
how do we know that something else isn't conscious? But I think it's just evolution. It's just survival of the fittest.
Mhm.
Because like right now, I like read an article somewhere where that like monkeys in the Amazon are in the Stone Age. So.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I don't know how like real that is though.
They're
It's-
using tools.
They're using tools. Like they have the intelligence. I think they have the ability to be conscious. Like not to be like us, but they're just not conscious. So like
Have you ever thought about that? Like, what if
they
in
need to evolve.
30,000 years monkeys start evolving? Like, how would we treat
Like
them?
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, how do we
I
treat
don't
them
know,
as a
dude. I feel like
society?
we're.
I think
You know how people explain that like aliens are way more evolved because they've been around for way longer?
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a scenario like that where we're just so much more advanced that we just kind of like look at them as like little ants almost.
Do you think we would like help them, or do you think we'd be like racist towards them?
I think both.
Yeah.
Because
It's
think
hard
about
to-
it this
yeah.
way. Because like, why do you think like the reason why like people fear like we fear aliens so much is that we're scared that they're gonna treat us like we treat like animals.
Yeah.
Like we just do not give a fuck. Like yeah, we give a fuck about some animals, but just like what if they look at us like cows, like livestock?
Yeah.
Like, and they're just so much more advanced than we are that they're just gonna, like you said, they're just gonna look down at us. So I feel like we would, but then eventually it'll get to the point where we're like, okay, we probably should start to help. We're all sharing a planet that we need to like help them out. Or
Yeah.
it's
I wonder where ethics falls on that, like helping a society.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
evolution.
But like also too, it might very well like what if it's like also too like if they get aggressive with humans, like if their
Yeah.
society gets aggressive.
Because some
with
of them
us,
are like
what-
super strong.
Dude, apes would fuck you up.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
yeah,
Dude,
they
if a gorilla got smart, that'd be scary.
I think that was like the whole premise of that. Not the old movie, not the old Planet Apes, but like the new one. It was like
Yeah.
they gave this serum to the animals in the modern day, and it's just like 1,000 monkeys loose in fucking LA. And they're
Yeah,
fucking shit up.
because they had, well, it was that so they made a vaccine for, I think they called it simian flu
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in the movie. I saw the movie way too many times, so I could tell you like the whole plot, but yeah, they made a vaccine. No. Originally, because the main character, his dad had Alzheimer's, so he was trying to make a like something to help with that, or like a vaccine or something. So
that's why it made
they
them
would take
smart.
it. And so I guess somehow the first monkey got it, and it made him smart as hell. But it also, like, when they tried it on people, the people would, like, I think, isn't that how it started? Where, like, if they tried it on people, it'd give them like an illness, and that's what started the simian flu, which spread around like the whole world, and it just wiped out everyone.
Oh no! If a human got it, they would get like their brain would start evolving. It would be the opposite of what happens to apes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I don't remember, but yeah, it was crazy. Like the monkeys got super smart. They could, like, eventually some of them could talk. Like Caesar was the first one that could talk, and I think it was like the first or second movie. But yeah, dude, it was.
Imagine that. Like,
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Like
it.
which like apocalyptic scenario do you think is most likely?
Most likely.
I would say like
I think like overpopulation.
overpopulation is a big one.
So like a
but then-
Ready Player One kind of.
Oh. I
Yeah.
think worse than that. Like you see, I forget what the movie's called, but it's this movie with Will Smith and his son, and it's like.
Oh wait,
There's these people that live like outside. Like,
isn't
on the
that
space station.
shit? Oh fuck, what's that called? No, I haven't. I don't think I've
You know
seen
which
that.
one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like now Earth is like overgrown and there's like
Yeah.
monsters and stuff.
yeah.
I think that would be something like that.
I was low-key thinking about, like, what about The Walking Dead? You know? Because there are
Oh.
viruses out there that can control
Mm.
dead organisms, and their whole thing is just to spread.
That's so crazy.
But then, too, like, also, a zombie apocalypse is just, like, it would last no more than 90 days.
You
Because
think so?
I would maybe more than 90 days, but it takes, just decomposition. You know, it takes... It's just, like, even though the thing would take over the brain, it's just, like, you can't really stop the process of decomposition.
Okay, but
do you think like nukes would get involved in
Yes.
something like that, or
I
they just
actually
like if
know.
if a town got like, they just drop
They
like
did
a
that
bomb
in
there?
Resident Evil and it didn't work.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the show, dude? The show's actually good.
You have to watch have you seen the original movies?
No.
You have to watch the original movies.
Yeah,
The
dude,
all
I
six
gotta.
of them,
yeah.
it's they're like, I don't think that, I mean, nuke, yes, but like also too, it's like, why, like, let's say New York gets infested. Like, if you nuke New York, what if one person, it all takes
Then
one
it
person.
makes it completely like not worth it.
It's just like not worth it, because what if you nuke it and then all of a sudden it spreads to Philadelphia? You're gonna
Yeah.
nuke Philadelphia, like, it's just not worth it, because then also too, like,
Yeah.
what about someone outside the blast radius? Like, so you can get, it's just,
It's icky.
it's icky.
What if there's someone like in a bunker underneath and he's still a
Exactly.
zombie, or like, I don't know. It's hard to predict.
It's hard to
it.
like
It's hard
really
to-
predict, because it's just
yeah.
like it's like there's so many factors. Can these things run?
Yeah.
Are they walking? Are they running? Can they climb? Do they remember how to do things? Because, you know, it's just like, it's
Yeah.
like that one movie. Like, I don't even know which one, but like there's ones where like they like run.
Oh, the one with.
I would die off the
Isn't
bat.
that World War Z?
Yeah, the one with Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would die off the rack. I would die on the rack if I saw a fucking zombie run at me. I was like, if they can
Yeah.
run, I'm done.
That's scary.
But like
Have
The
you-
Walking Dead, I'm like, if they're walking, like, just walk away.
What other like apocalyptic scenarios do you think are possible? Because I
I
know.
would say nuclear warfare. Like, now that it's, even though like during the Cold War we avoided it so many times, I just feel like now it's just like it's coming back. You know, like with Russia and Ukraine, and then North
Yeah.
Korea, and now with like Iran is trying to make them, even though they're like 10 years away. It's still 10 years, and it's just like modern warfare is just getting so much more and more modern that like eventually one country's gonna be like, hey, fuck you, I'm gonna go fuck you up. It's like, I don't know, and you know, it's just boom, war.
Yeah, it's
What do you
scary.
think the next nuke is? Like, you know how the nuke
I don't-
is like this huge weapon that's just a war ender. What do you think the next one is gonna be?
If anything,
Drones.
maybe. You think drones? Oh yeah,
Okay, 'cause
some
I was
like
thinking,
it
I
could
was
be.
reading,
It's
okay,
quick,
I was
dude.
reading this article in Ukraine. I don't know what country made. I think it was Australia. Made these cardboard drones, right? They can't detect them on radar. So if you because radar picks up like metal, you know, things that bounce off. They don't pick up these they're just so flimsy, you know. But they've been super effective. And it's kind of causing a little bit of like a huge thing, because what if there's these drones that they make them nuclear capable? They can get right through our defense system.
Are they like recon drones, or what are they?
No, they're just like, I don't know
Like
what
flying drones?
they're flying
That'd be
drones.
scary
Because
you could.
I'm
people
saying
could,
like it's drones, but like the cardboard, they just, if it's not detectable by radar and it doesn't give off any kind of like, I'm trying to think, like, because our most missiles are like heat seeking or radar infrared locked. You can't really lock on. Well, some missiles now can lock onto an object, but like you're not gonna be firing air-to-air missiles at a fucking cardboard, you know. And I think
we're gonna find some way to.
it's just now, like, it's just like there's always bigger fish, and so I'm saying it's like I would not be surprised if a country like decided, like, what if we strap a fucking nuke to one of these things and just fly it? You know, they're not.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because it's just like our air defense system is just so vast. Like, it's meant to shoot down like these intercontinental ballistic missiles, and it's just like they can just fly these things over the fucking ocean. You know, it's like the same shit with like that Chinese spy balloon. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't really fucking do shit about that. You know, like, yeah, you could like shoot down with a missile, but like it's like $6 million right there off the bat. You know, not actually, but like, you know, it's just like as advanced as we get, there's like you can go back to the basics and like it'll get around that technology. You know, it's just crazy. You know, like I think that's the new thing, because we're really starting to see, like, I keep tabs on what's going on in Ukraine, because like Ukraine is like right now it's like the battleground. You know, all these countries are sending weapons to Ukraine to see how they're performing in combat. And you're really starting to see like a really big up in like drones. Drone warfare is like, in my opinion, tanks, they're effective, but like they're death boxes. You know, you're just one hit, you're done. And I'm just like, you know, and those drones take them out. So it's just, I really think that drones are like the next
big thing, yeah.
And even like yeah.
Warfare is going to be unmanned soon?
I don't think that it's ever going to be unmanned, because there's just so many different things. There's like, you know, the enemy
like not having men on the battlefield.
You know, you'll always have men on the battlefield, I think. And because one, I think people are scared of weaponizing robots, like having a humanoid with a rifle, you know, because that can go south.
Yeah.
I'm just like, when I was like in the military program, they're talking about how there's as even though technology is great, someone can hack it. There's, you know, it requires electricity, and it's just like, well, what if you don't have electricity, or
you gotta charge your robot?
You gotta charge your robot.
Yeah.
It's just like it's always gonna be manpower. I don't think that they'll ever, like, even though it's like you see a lot of like unmanned drones just like in whatever countries that we don't fuck with, like they just drop a fucking missile on whatever. That's just like, you know, it's unmanned, but like we're still controlling it, because I feel like we will always need to be in control and always have, because like what if you have robots in the battlefield and then they like what if they're just like, fuck you, we're not going to do this no more, you know, or they get hacked, or, you know, just throw a fucking EMP out in the field.
And there's like certain things where like you need a human there to do that. Like, like if there's like a close call or something, and you got to make a decision really quick, and it's like a moral or ethical decision.
Yeah.
I don't think a robot will be able to do that.
I don't think they would either.
Like if you got to save a person's life, I think the robot will just like walk past them or something like that.
Yeah, I just think
if it has an objective, it's gonna do it.
I don't think that they'll be humanoids, but I think that will become like they'll make bionic parts. You know, have you ever seen The Edge of Tomorrow?
That's what I was literally about to say.
I was thinking like Cyborg. Like.
I'm thinking like the Edge of Tomorrow, where they have like we have like exoskeleton suits that make us stronger, or like we can have a bigger gun, or
like Halo.
The military is starting to like. There's these. They just put in these new backpacks. So for the machine gun squads, usually they would have to carry. You'd have like a ammo bearer and a machine gunner. I think is how it works. But pretty much, they make this backpack that goes straight into the machine gun. And so you just have like rounds and rounds of ammunition on your back, and then you still have the ammo bearer, but like you can just carry so much more. I think that's what it's going to be, is that we're just going to find ways to make dying on the battlefield go down. Yeah. Because, we
do have like the capabilities for the actual, like an actual exosuit. We can make that, but the main thing is the power source.
It's the power source. That's
the
huge thing.
So you always got to charge your
You always just like, whatever, you're just like on the battlefield. You're like, oh wait, ceasefire, we got to charge our battery,
Imagine like forgetting to fucking charge your exosuit overnight. Fight in the morning.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I think there will always be men on the battlefield, but I think we'll just get smarter about how we do war.
Yeah. I think it's hard to
It's hard to gauge,
especially really. Now. I feel like it's hard. People, they don't want to start a war right now. I mean, there's like smaller. What do they call those wars?
Proxy wars.
Yeah, there's smaller proxy wars, but
I think the first modern. It's been Creighton versus Russia has been the first modern war, and you're really starting to see because usually it's been like us fighting Middle Eastern people who don't have they just have rocket launchers. So but. Think about it, if you really think about it too, during when World War I first happened, I'm sure when people were like mustard gas, planes with guns, they're like, what the fuck? I'm sure if you saw a fucking plane just fly over, it's I'm sure it's a little bit different because we have it's mass destruction, but I'm sure that people were thinking holy fuck, or when the Germans made howitzers, the artillery, I'm sure they were holy shit, this is going to fuck a lot of people up. So I just think that it's just it's just...
It's so crazy. I don't know how people come up with weapons of mass destruction. It's just let's make this the worst thing ever.
Over history, it's been pretty much someone threw a fucking rock. I came in and threw a rock, and ever since then it's how fast can we throw this fucking rock? And it's just
how big can we
big can we make this fucking rock?
And when it hits this thing, how much damage can we do? And shit like that,
That's exactly what it is. It's just how fast can we throw this fucking rock? So, but there's a lot of interesting military equipment. I gotta say,
You think AI would be used in a war?
No.
Some Skynet shit?
Well, because now
Skynet.
modern phones have become a big thing in war. In Ukraine.
ChatGPT. I'm thinking.
I don't think ChatGPT.
I think Putin fucking pulls up ChatGPT.
I don't know.
What do I do with Ukraine?
It just but phones are becoming a big thing. Because I know in the beginning of the war, Ukraine was able to pick up Russians making phone calls. And so they were able to pinpoint this phone and just send a fucking artillery shell downrange on them. It's just...
That's so crazy, dude.
So, bringing phones in the battlefield, I think that's just become... It's... Really, phones have changed the way war is fought because, one, you can film everything.
We see a lot more of it.
You see a lot more of it. I've seen a lot of, Ukrainian war films of, them fighting the war and, it's...
And it also controls, how the government... controls the narrative. Because for Vietnam, before the films of what was actually happening in the streets came out, America was trying to make, over the radio. Because that was people's main way of hearing it. They would make themselves trying to sound good. And, we're beating the fuck out of these Vietnamese people.
Or even in World War II, the propaganda footage, So I think just phones have just changed really. It's really changed the way that war is fought. And I forgot where I was going with this, but I don't know. It's just I feel But as far as nukes go, the U.S. is always they announce their things 10 years behind what they actually have. So when they come out and they say that they have this, they're 10 years ahead of what they actually have.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's so crazy.
it's crazy, like, how smart people are, you know? Like, how, like, they have stealth helicopters.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not stealth. You can hear
I
it coming
feel. I
from a
always thought
fucking
about
mile
like.
away, you know? But, like, it's just, I feel like, you know, we have better stuff than what they're letting the public know.
Yeah.
You know, like, we have a vast array of, like, we don't just have nukes, like, we have air defense systems everywhere.
It's because we put more into our defense budget than like the next 3 countries combined.
Yeah, which is, like, crazy, though, but it's also, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's needed, but I feel like being the powerhouse of a country we need it. And I feel like they really downplay our air defense system. They do downplay our air defense system because it's so vast, you know? And because there's missile silos everywhere. Like, there's some in the mountains of Arkansas. Or, like, a lot of our nukes are in, like, Montana, Nevada. Like, they're, like, it's in one area, which is the most, it's a blessing and a sin. Because, one, all these missile silos are in the butt-fuck nowhere away. Because, like, you know, if Russia nukes us, they're going to want to knock out our missiles, you know? So they're not going to, like, they're not going to direct all their nukes towards cities that have silos. They're going to go after that whole big thing in the middle of fucking nowhere. But, you know, that targets there, and then cities will have less they will receive less, so those air defense systems will really protect those populated areas over, you know, because we have, like, the missile silos in Nevada, but we also have the nuclear submarines that are always out in the ocean, and then they always have bombers on standby to fly up in the air, and they could just launch them out.
I think Hawaii is kind of like a double whammy with that because we have such...
You have such a vast
There's
array
such
of
a-
military assets
Yeah,
there.
there's such a present... The military is so present in Hawaii, but it's so hard to, like, separate
Military
where
from
the
civilian.
civilians are and from... Because if
Yeah.
you bomb Pearl Harbor, you're going to kill people.
Well, they did that once, but
If you bomb it again, you're going to kill people.
And I think that's just like a risk that you have to take.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, you know, Hawaii would be.
I'm not sure if you guys heard about this, but I think it was 2016 when this whole North Korea stuff was going on. We actually had a false missile alert. So I woke up to my
Oh,
parents
yeah, I remember that.
yelling at me. They're like, a fucking nuke is gonna drop in 30 minutes. That was the wildest shit ever to me. And I think it just kind of put into perspective, like, how vulnerable we are. We're just like a rock in the ocean, you know? We're
Yeah,
a
like-
stepping stone to America.
Honestly though, you really are, because you're like 4 miles away from mainland, and so it's just like
4 miles, dude.
4 hours. 4 hours. I'm not stupid, I swear.
4 miles.
But, you know, it's gonna take a bit for, like, you know, even though, like, you have military assets there, like, you don't have a lot of space for, like, where the fuck are the defense systems gonna
Because
go?
we're dependent on mainland America. There's this documentary called Ketchup and M&Ms. If we didn't have imports from, like, the rest of the world, that would be the only thing we could eat, ketchup and M&Ms.
Really?
Like, whatever we go in Hawaii.
Yeah. But, like, everything but, like, Guam, like, how small, like, you know, they're all the way across the ocean, but they're U.S. territory. Like, you know, it's farther away from Hawaii. So, like, and they have a huge military presence there. So, like, they're kind of like in a worse situation than you guys, because they're also, like, really close to Korea, North Korea, and Russia.
I feel a little bit safer in Hawaii, I think, than I would in Guam, just because of how much stuff we have at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff there,
'Cause
like carriers and shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's crazy how vulnerable you, like, it's, like, I really think about it, like, ever since, like, the war broke out in Russia and Ukraine, do you ever, like, think about, like, we could be sitting here right now, we'll get a missile alert on your phone, and, like, the odds of us, like, surviving is very slim, you know, it's not only just you have to survive the blast, you have to survive the fallout for years, while also trying to stay out of the radiation clouds, eating uninfected food, and, like, surviving, like, the collapse of civilization.
That's
So
like
there is so like it's not just like, oh, the blast hit, we're done. You know, we can go back to the life you live. It's like you actually have
I
to.
think it also has a cultural impact because I was reading this book called Black Rain. It's about this Japanese girl.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the outskirts of Hiroshima when the bombs dropped, so she wasn't actually affected, but no, she couldn't get a husband because they all thought she was like contaminated with radiation.
Yep.
And it was like this whole thing, and her village would like ostracize her, and they would like. It becomes a cultural thing as well. It just like it hurts in so many ways.
It's crazy. I think as far as like apocalyptic scenarios, that one definitely is like
it's the most prevalent.
one of the most like most realistic, I think.
Plausible. Yeah.
That it definitely is.
Also, a fucking pandemic that swipes over the whole world and kills the fucking population.
Shit, we almost had that a couple of years ago.
Almost.
Yeah. What was your quarantine like? You know, like I know like
mine wasn't that. I mean,
were you like a family that like was your family like one that stayed in, or would they were you just kind of like, I don't give a shit, do whatever?
we stayed in. It was me, my brother, and my mom stayed at home. And my dad went to work.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think it was similar for a lot of my friends. Even though, like, because I did cross country at the time, so I'd still, like, go out and run outside. But, you know, I didn't do, basically, I basically didn't do anything else. I really just stayed home, ran, came back home, stayed at home, next day, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
My dad works for, he works for DOD, he works at Pearl Harbor, so
yeah,
he could not risk being sick, right? So he had to actually move out of our house for like a year.
Interesting.
And he was living with this transgender. Can I tell a story about this transgender?
Go right
for
ahead.
a second. So in Hawaii, right, we have these like waterfalls that you can jump off of.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a little pond at the bottom, and there's also like streams on these sites. And my dad, when he was a teenager, he's in college. He's back in Hawaii. He's with my mom and his best friend Randy, Uncle Randy. They're crossing, as they're coming back, there's a flash flood warning, and the stream, which was just like a little trickle before so you could hop over the rocks, it starts pouring. And there's this family with a little girl in the stream. And so my dad forms a human chain with my mom and Uncle Randy, and then there's also this third woman, or this like other woman there. And they're like making a chain to help bring the daughter out of the water. And then just recently, I think like a couple months ago, he had a dream about the same thing. And when the woman came down, or like when they came down and they were giving the police report, nobody else had seen the woman. It was only my dad that had seen it. My dad's a very like religious person, so he thinks it was like an act of God.
Like an angel or something?
Yeah, he had this dream. He had like a dream about it just recently. And as soon as he woke up, this transgender Korean woman, she's like part of the church. She calls him and she's like, stay away from the water. He hadn't told her anything about it. And she tells him, stay away from the water. So for like 6 months, he didn't let me go to the beach or anything. Just because like, he was scared of that.
Yeah, he was scared of
that was like crazy.
Yeah. I do want to wrap this up because we've gone for, but that's a crazy.
That is a crazy story.
My friend's dad has something similar to that. I think where like somebody like said or somebody does something and then like people just don't remember. And yeah, that story was crazy. It's coming in a few episodes, but whenever that episode drops, I think it'll get mentioned. But basically when I end the podcast, I ask for like specific, if you guys have any advice, whether it's life advice or anything you want to add.
Ooh, 2 things. I got 2 things. First thing, I highly recommend seeing, like, when you travel the world, don't just go to like the rich areas, you know, like the predominant like touristy place. I recommend going to like really see everything, because it really gives you a perspective on how the world, like, go to the poor areas within reason, you know, go to the safe areas, but like really see the world and what is just there and what is over a screen, because you just really, it really gives you a perspective on how things work, you know, because after like doing volunteer work through school and like the low income communities and just like going like traveling the world and just seeing like how people act. You know, it's just, you really need to, like, I feel like in order for people to like really like understand or like how be thankful for like how for what they have, you really have to like see what you have that other people don't have.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I come from like a very well-off family, but like I'm not, and I went to a school with a lot of well-off people. And some of these kids didn't work. They didn't work a job. They don't do, and they just, you know, fuck around and drink and go play golf, you know? But, you know, and I just think I'm really thankful that like my parents were very like, they're very like, you know, be thankful for what you have. And like I'm glad that I didn't grow up as a spoiled rich kid. You know, I worked 3 jobs most summers, you know, I wasn't really given anything. But I still went on, like, I went on trips, but my parents were like, be thankful for these trips. You know, not everybody can go on these trips, so really like take it in. And so I'm really thankful that I'm like, so like really go out and enjoy what you have. And if you're in good health, really enjoy it. Like, you know, because when you're sick and you're like, fuck, I really regret being healthy for granted. Like, go out, like, be thankful that you're healthy, you know, always check in. If something's wrong, go to the doctor, you know, because, you know, one of my aunts has got like stage 4 cancer. She has like stage 4 colon
Sorry
cancer.
to hear that.
Yeah, but she's doing a lot better though. She got like stage 4. She went in and because she was sick, and then she had like 30 days to live, and it was just this whole like fiasco. But then now she's doing a lot better. But like the point is that you really gotta like go to the doctor. If you feel like something wrong, I would just go to the doctor, get checked out, because you just never know. And you know, just up until then, just really like take those chances.
Enjoy everything.
Really take those chances that you are given to like, you know, even if they feel uncomfortable, like you really like if you feel uncomfortable, just like you gotta push yourself. You gotta push the line sometimes. Sometimes you have to cross the line and make sure it's there in the morning. And
I like that.
yeah. So, like, push boundaries within reason. Be, like, you know, but, like, also make mistakes. You know, mistakes are just lessons learned too late. And I've had my fair share of mistakes. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It might seem like the world's coming down, but, like, you know, just embrace experiences and what you have, because you could be a lot worse. You know, so just really just live it up. Live life to the fullest, but like also study, get work done, and don't be like I don't know, just be a good person, and just really just taking those life experiences. And the second thing is just relates back to the boundaries thing, like pushing yourself. Like you're gonna come across, like in life, you're gonna come across choices that like they seem easy, they seem like the best thing ever, but like, you know, and it's gonna seem like it's gonna make your life a hell of a lot easier, but you gotta turn them down, because you deserve better, you know. Because even though it might seem easy, it might seem like the perfect thing to do. Like sometimes the perfect thing isn't the best thing, you know. It's like it's kind of just like I don't know an example, but just like sometimes you just gotta turn down things in order to get the best of yourself. So, yeah, that's pretty much what all I gotta say.
No, that was good, dude. By all means.
I think for me, specifically if you're like from a smaller community, kind of like I'm from Hawaii, don't spend your entire life in that community. Just live for at least a couple years, I think, whether it's college or a job or whatever. Just live in another place and experience a different culture. Just so you get just so your worldview is different, and so that you can understand people better. I feel like like if you are able to actually live as they live, you'll be able to understand. And also, like CJ was saying, it's like so cliche, but it's so true. Just take the opportunities you're given and just work your hardest. You only get what you put in.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way I think about it. I'm like, the way I think about it sometimes, if I can't make a choice, I'm like, am I gonna regret not taking this chance when I wake up tomorrow? You know, like let's say I get invited to go out with some friends, and I'm like, oh, what if I'm like really tired? I don't got anything to do tomorrow. I can sleep in. But I'm just really tired right now. If I don't go out, what if they do it? You know, it's like, it's just kind of like little things like that. Like, you know, it's, you just never know whatever chance you take, where it's going to lead you. You know? Because it's just, if I didn't like, my mom told me to apply to Creighton. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll apply. You know, because it wasn't really on my, like, it wasn't in my top 3. It was more like, it was like my 5th choice. But if I didn't just listen to my mom and type up that application, I wouldn't be here. You know, and I'd be in some school where I'm just kind of like, I wouldn't, you know, like Augustine, I wouldn't feel at home. I wouldn't have met you guys. It would have been a whole different thing. And all because my mom was like, CJ, apply to Creighton. You know, like I really, you know, so.
So yeah, you can appreciate that.
You can.
I do agree. I think like everyone should take risks, like, you know, to some extent, but
within reason, within logical reason.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, a lot of people take risks and they regret it, but I think especially for good things, like, take a risk, you know, like if you don't feel like running this morning, just go for a run. You're gonna feel good later.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like doing this, go do that.
I think it's very rare where you're more likely to regret not doing something than doing something.
Yeah, because it's just like, it's easier to, it's kind of like a thing where it's just like, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Not, again, within reason, but like, you know, it's just kind of just like, I'm not saying you should defy your parents, but like, you know, sometimes, like me, one of my best memories with my friends is sneaking out. Sure, it was like, you know, it's sneaking out, but like, I wouldn't have made the memories that I did if I didn't do it. And it was just like, my parents weren't really, like, they were mad, but like, it was more just like, I wasn't doing it. We went out to McDonald's and went stargazing. And it was awesome, you know? And so I think it was just like, that's one of my things where it's just like, just take that chance, take that risk, because you're gonna have like, I did so much of that in high school where I was just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going out. You know, fuck it, let's go do it. And now I have like all these stories and all these experiences, and I'm like, I was very satisfied after graduation where I did not regret, like I didn't look back at high school and think, fuck, I really wish I did that. I'm looking back at it like, you know what? I had such good, like compared to a lot of people, like I had a pretty good college experience. Like in not college, high school. And that's all because I really had that mindset of just like, take those chances when they're given to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really hoping something like that happens for me in college, because I mean in high school I really didn't feel like fulfilled until like senior year.
Exactly.
When I started a podcast and I started going to the gym regularly. I'm like, okay, like I actually kind of feel happy now.
It's like once you really start to let go of what people like, you need to let go of what people think about you, because there's always going to be someone. There's always going to be someone trying to ruin your peace. There's always going to be an active thing trying to ruin your peace, and as soon as you like let that go and not let that, you know, what people think about you or like what people are saying about, like, just something like, you know, it sucks, but like it's easier said than done. But it's just like, there's, you know, you're focus on the people that want to help you. Focus on the ones that are like coming to you, your friends. Don't focus on the ones that are trying to make your life bad, because that's what they want. They want to hurt you, and just focus on like the ones, you know, what's at hand, and you know, you have your little inner circle, and you know,
I
that's
think
all
I was
that
kind of
matters.
the opposite of me in high school. I was so encapsulated. Obviously, I'm from an Asian family, so I kind of fit the stereotype. But like, I was just so focused on my end goal of getting into a college. I wasn't experiencing high school.
Yeah, I mean, I
didn't do shit until senior year.
Really, my parents told me that if I get good grades, I can do whatever. I can pretty much do whatever. Like, you know, they don't really care what I do. Like, I can go out on the weekends. So I feel like that was really my initiative to get. That was my only initiative to get good grades, but it's just like, there's more to life than just. There's more than like to school than just studying, because like you're young, and it's just like, studying is a big part of it, because it's just like.
Well, not just with school, but like with extracurricular activities and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be involved. You gotta
be out there. You gotta just really.
I think I had a lot of burnout as a kid, or as a teenager. I'm still
Yeah.
a teenager. as a high schooler.
Yeah. But I think this podcast. Well, actually, I want to do a quick summary. So we started with how you guys liked like Creighton so far, where you guys grew up, what you guys like to do, gym. Then we talked about tanks.
Favorite tank.
And
is
then
the Tiger.
how Omaha compares to where you lived, and then why you chose Creighton, your majors. We talked about we talked about like the clubs and stuff that you're in.
Yeah.
And we talked about what your goal in life is. Eventually, like, you know, like where you guys wanted to live. Your bucket list, which was pretty cool. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like purpose in life. You know, we got to time as a concept, and then we got into like multiverse, and then eventually we got into like just like dystopian.
I feel like we spent the majority of the time on like the last 4 or 5 questions.
Honestly though,
Dude, that's why I throw those in there, because I feel like
Those are good ones.
they're the most fun ones to talk
We
about.
kind of just went
we
on.
just went crazy.
Yeah, which I really appreciate, because like conversations like these, I learn a lot from. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I for a lot of this podcast, I kind of just sat back and just soaked in a lot of information.
Which I think is pretty nice, because you really like, if you really like, I've talked to a lot of people, you know, like it's interesting to look at people's life stories and their experiences. You really get something from it.
That's why I do this.
Even if it's like a really boring person, you can really just be like, huh, interesting.
Even just like how they talk, it tells you so much about
Yeah,
the
it's
person.
just it's just you learn so much from listening to people, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'm really big on talking to strangers, but like
That's another thing. Listen to people. Talk with different people.
because like if you're sitting at a table and there's some random dude, you can just say like hi, my name is.
Yeah.
Because I met some dude like this summer. Me and my friend were just eating pad thai, and this guy was like, "Is he taken?" We're like, "No," and we talked to him, and this guy was like, you know, he travels the world. His wife lives in Thailand, you know, and when I was in Germany, I met this doctor who works at, you know, he's a doctor in like at a hospital in California, and he was just like, you know, you're going to nursing, you need to do this, this, and this, and he's just like, here's my number, call me when he just sent me a text or call me when you're done with school, and you know, I can find you a job. And I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever, you know, like it's just, you really, by talking to people, you just don't know what kind of connections you're gonna make.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I wouldn't say I know a lot of people, but like I just go around and I just see people and I'm like, hey, my name's CJ, and usually people are just like, oh, they remember that, you know?
Yeah. I was doing that like the first 3 weeks here. Like I told you guys, I literally sat and ate lunch with a different person every single day.
That is the way to go.
Every single day, I was eating with some like different kids, somebody I didn't know, and sometimes, you know, I'm sitting with like juniors and seniors. Some days I'm sitting with freshmen. Some days I'm sitting with sophomores, and you know, it's like it's really cool to get to know like a lot of people on campus.
It's
and
nice
I think
to know, because then you just like, because when I back home and like I would do that. I would just talk to so many different people that like I could not go anywhere in like Edina or like a city outside without someone being like, oh my God, like you're CJ, or like I seen you somewhere, you're friends with so-and-so. So it's kind of like, it's nice to know those connections, because you just don't know who you're going to meet, you know?
Yeah.
I've met like my best friend Kevin. I don't know how we met. I have no idea how but just one day we were good friends, you know?
Yeah.
Just all because I said hi to him, you know?
Yeah.
It's just little things like
sometimes
that.
that just makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was coming here. I wanted to start the podcast here. So, you know, like I joined like the Creighton story, and I'm like, wait, there's something I could do with this, right? So I put up the initial post, and it was just like, yo, like it was a poll, like, yo, like who would support if I made a podcast here? And dude, it was a majority of like thumbs up.
Mm.
So, and then I remember just like I looked, and you can legit go through like everyone that's on the Creighton story and just add them. So I started doing that.
Yeah,
exactly. And I have like every single like freshman, and now I'm like, that's fucking free views. I don't think anybody's doing that. That's like the easiest views on earth, bro.
Yeah.
But people got mad eventually, so I don't know how that's working.
Yeah, because people get mad about anything. So like,
yeah, but
they're just hating because they can't be on the podcast.
I also want to say special thanks for like this microphone I got from Annabelle Whitmore.
You're a real one, Annabelle.
Yeah, dude.
You're a real one.
Shout out
I wasn't even looking for another mic, but she said that she had one and she was gonna she was willing to give it for like $10, and I'm like, that actually works perfectly, because I'm kind of getting tired of like having one mic that my guest can just pass around. But yeah, this works like completely perfectly.
Yeah,
it fits
I
in.
like it a
This
lot.
felt like a conversation.
This felt like
Yeah.
because it's not just like boom, boom, boom.
It's
boom,
not
pass
like
around the
yeah.
microphone. It's just like I got one in front of me.
Yeah,
Great.
you don't have to take turns just to speak, but so yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, I do want to wrap this up. So I want to thank you guys for hopping on. I know a lot of people definitely learned a lot. We talked about a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like life experiences, advice you guys gave. Whether it's like your majors, what you're planning to do in the future, a lot of kids can like learn from that too. So I just want to thank you guys for getting on today. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Some dap ups, right? Fuck yeah. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Gold Swell Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to drop a like. And if you plan on listening to any future episodes, make sure to subscribe and click that notification button.